So yeah, there's been some talk yesterday about how do we cut these kinds of backgrounds. Just a second, yeah. So, for example, for Kane and Son, this is Kane and Son, one of the websites we're currently developing right now. So when I presented the layout to the developers, there were some questions as to how are we going to cut the background. So what I want to show now is how I usually do it, and maybe it might give you guys an idea of how to approach this. So the background basically consists of the top highlight portion and the pattern that's repeating on the background. Um, this layout is done has the following width. Let me just check. It's 2880. That's the resolution that the MacBook Pro with Retina display has, and it's currently the largest resolution there is out there. So that's why I made this layout to have that width. So just to make sure it fits on every screen out there, because otherwise on MacBook Pros with Retina the background would get clipped on the sides. Also the iMac, the 27-inch iMac has a resolution of 2560. So I was thinking about working with 2560 at first, but then I switched to 2880 just to make sure. Anyway, this is kind of a large resolution, so the main question here is how do we keep control on the size of the background images, because they can get large really fast. So, for example, this image is 2880 by 1267. So, if I'm going to try to save that for the web, um, it's gonna be pretty large. It's 544 kilobytes. It says right here on the top, on the bottom left corner. I usually work with, for quality here, I usually work with values between 60 and 70, but considering that's where you get the best compromise between quality and file size, but considering this image is quite large, I'm gonna work with 60 this time. Below 60, um, you can usually start seeing the compression on the JPEG, so that's no good. And over 70, you can't actually tell if there's a difference between the compressed image or the original. So for a quality of 60, we have 399 kilos per image. So that's quite large. Let's see what we can do about it. So the main thing that pops into my mind is that we, instead of using this whole image, this pattern is kind of large, but instead of using the whole image, maybe we can use only part of it. Let's say this here, around, I don't know, 60%. I'm going to go ahead and copy that and then create another file and paste it right in there. So we could use this image for the pattern in the background. If the height would be smaller, then the pattern would also be smaller, and it could get very repetitive really fast, especially because this background texture is a little bit chaotic. It doesn't have a very regular pattern, so it's all sorts of dents and scratches. And if we make this really small, as in smaller in height, then you that would show up in the final result. So let's see. So this image is 851. I'll make that 850. Okay, so the main thing to check out is to see if this pattern actually is tileable vertically and horizontally. So to do that, I'm going to offset it by 500 and 300 vertically. So this is before and after. Let's try 400 for example, or 7. It seems that it's tileable vertically, so that's fine. Horizontally, sorry. Okay, so as you can see, there is a horizontal line here. That means that the pattern is not tileable horizontally. So in order to fix that, I'm gonna use the spot healing brush tool on small amounts, and Photoshop is gonna try to recreate those areas with portions around that area and just essentially make it look the same. Okay, I found that it works best in small increments, as in not drawing the whole line at once. Alright. Before and after. Okay, so right now we don't see any horizontal line, which is fine. Okay, I'll go ahead and use offset just to move it into the original position. I'm gonna use offset with the positive amounts here, and that's gonna snap it right back into place. Okay, so this is the original pattern, only this time it's fixed. So I'm gonna go ahead and select all of this and I'll define a pattern. Cool. Okay, so this is the original layout, and right now if I create another layer and put that pattern on that layer, then it should look alright. Yeah, and basically we can increase the height of this document and the pattern would still tile up and down indefinitely, so that's cool. We've got the top part. Yeah, we have the top part here, and with the highlight, and then the tileable background. So if I hide the tileable background, we're left with only the background, only the top part. Sorry. So if we want to save this as a PNG, the file is going to be extra large. So let me just go ahead and try that. So as you can see, it's almost 4 megs, which is totally unacceptable. So the only thing we can do is use this top part with the background layer and save both of them as a JPEG. So in order to do that, I'm going to select the whole I'll select the whole canvas. I'll go ahead and copy merged, and then I'll create a new document and paste this inside. So basically we're gonna cut the highlight off by making a selection on the left side, right where the highlight is fading away. I'll go ahead and cut that out, and then one on the right side. I'm using the same selection just to make sure these cuts are symmetrical. So that the background is always centered. And then another cut where it fades. Okay, so basically we have a layer with the highlight and one white layer on the background. But if we apply the pattern that we defined earlier on this one, they should work together seamlessly. Okay, you see, so that's the highlight with the background, and that's the background. So if I go ahead and save this highlight separately, then I can use these two images to create the background in HTML. That's 400, and I'll bump this down to 60, and that's 329. It's this big because although this image is smaller than the one with the pattern, it's still pretty big because there's a lot of hues of gray in here, and it's actually taller than the background, the pattern. So yeah, you can save that, and basically you'd have the pattern and the highlight on two different images. You could set the pattern to the body of the HTML and the top highlight to a div that's a wrapper, and you have a nice transition between the two of them. So basically, that's how I usually do it. Alright, guys, that's kind of it, and I'll talk to you.